Do you ever fall asleep visualizing your dream life? And then while you're dreaming, your subconscious starts throwing you the exact opposite. Like we're out here manifesting luxury and love and a beautiful life, and then suddenly you're having dreams about the opposite, not having enough, your ex. We're going to talk about that today because it's not failure and it's not, a prophecy or showing you even what you want. It is literally your brain decoding, encoding, and categorizing your reality. And it does this every single night based off what it experienced throughout that day and all of your deeper emotional connections. So we are told in the manifestation community to do sats at night, and then we will spend the entire rest of the night in that state. So that makes us think that, we're going to be dreaming about our desires the whole night, right? Because we're encoding that new version of ourselves. We're encoding our desires all night long so that it can manifest the next day. But that's not exactly true. I had kimchi for dinner and it was super sour, like way more sour than I preferred. Didn't really care, didn't really not care, but it was something that happened. So then that night I dream, for some reason, that my mother is holding this kimchi and she's about to eat it. And I'm thinking, oh, I should tell her that that one is really sour. Why? Why am I spending my precious dream time when I could be manifesting myself on a boat in the Maldives? Why am I spending that time dreaming about kimchi? Like, am I literally sitting there re-manifesting more sour kimchi into my reality? Not exactly. So this is where we get into the science of it. We love getting into the science of it here on this channel because it's so fun to talk about. It is so fun to learn. So we dream about 4 to 6 dreams per night. And we are dreaming these on an average of like 2-hour time span. So basically every night we're playing like a feature length movie in our heads, just specifically designed for ourselves. And during this time, your brain is organizing and sorting and encoding all of this data and all of these emotions from your day. When you dream, you're literally mixing these random details, like the kimchi moment, and all those deeper emotional connections and all of that new programming that you're trying to do before you fall asleep. Old emotional associations. It's all of it. It's everything you thought about. It's everything you experienced throughout that day. Your brain is just kind of doing a cleanup, and it's dumping everything, and it's categorizing what matters, what we're never going to think about it again, etc. So whatever you have paid attention to throughout the day becomes potential dream material. And it's nothing more than that. It could have been a small doubt about your manifestation, and now your brain is trying to make sense of it. Where does this doubt fit in? Is it going to be reality, or am I going to toss that one in the garbage? You're not predicting and manifesting any of these things. Your brain is literally just labeling and decluttering and moving forward. So when we do SATs, we are planting a new belief in our brain before we go to bed. But just because we're planting these new beliefs, it doesn't mean that our subconscious doesn't hold on to this old programming for a little longer. We can still have fear, we can still have doubt, we can still think of the old story. So when you're falling asleep in this new assumption and then dreaming about the old one, that doesn't mean that you're regressing. Okay, it just means that your brain is reorganizing itself. And it's actually, if you think about it, it's a good thing because it means that you've clocked it, that you've noticed it. And if we want to talk neuroscience, your brain is literally pruning these old neural pathways and replacing it with new ones and strengthening those new ones. So why do these nightmares happen? When we are falling asleep with new programming in the wish fulfilled by doing SATs, we're introducing brand new code into our brain. It's not something we're used to thinking of all the time. And what is new feels uncomfortable, which is exactly the reason why people refuse to do the work and refuse to change. Because newness equals uncomfortability. Our brain wants to keep us where it feels safe, so it keeps replaying the same safe loops over and over and over, even if those loops feel bad. So your brain is resisting. It's resisting that new neural wiring at first because it's different. That does not mean that, it's never going to come. It just means that's why you keep persisting. Your brain can't hold two conflicting beliefs. You cannot serve two masters. You can't be two versions of yourself at the same time. One of them has to die. We have to let go of the old story. Even if it's hard, even if it takes a while, we will eventually do it. The mind learns through repetition, right? Neville Goddard said, "Sleep is the workshop of creation." And Dr. Joe Dispenza says, "Your personality creates your personal reality." So these two teachings meet right here. The state that you fall asleep in is what rewrites your subconscious code for what you perceive tomorrow. You've got the spiritual, woo-woo, everything is in your mind, and you've got the scientist. And it's all the same. It's all telling you the same thing. And you're still not listening. I guess you're still resisting. But you got to start persisting in this new belief that what I'm saying is the reality. Let's go back and touch on that little kimchi moment, because I just think it's so funny. And it proves another big thing about manifestation, that your subconscious doesn't filter importance. It doesn't recognize importance. It doesn't recognize what you want or don't want. It just recognizes what you keep feeding it, right? Your subconscious just logs anything that contains your attention or your emotion. And that moment had my attention for a little bit of the day. But overall, that experience was neutral. I didn't really care. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't spark a little something in my brain, and that tells my brain that, we got to categorize this. Are we going to dump this and forget about it again? Or are we going to carry it on as a lesson and teach people about dreams? But on a deeper meaning, this just shows you that whatever you focus on, especially as the day goes on, conversations, errands, things you didn't do, things you need to do, random thoughts, all of that is what your subconscious is going to be working with overnight while you sleep. So if these are things that you do not want to carry on, like if you really are trying to manifest something and you want to spend your whole 2-hour movie only thinking about getting that thing, then what we need to do is we need to entirely try and flush our subconscious systems, flush these things out of our brain before we go to bed at night. It is super, super, super important where your mind is going before you fall asleep at night. And so Neville actually came up with a technique to do this. He said, before you go to bed, close your eyes and replay that day from start to finish in your mind. Keep all of the good things, insert positive things that you wish were to happen, and if anything happened that you did not like, we were going to replace that with something else. We're rewriting everything that did not feel aligned. And this isn't pretending. This isn't being Delulu. It's creation. We're telling our subconscious that these are the things that we want to file as truth, and these are the things that we want to be experiencing more and living in our lives. If you're manifesting a relationship, but you ate dinner alone that day, you want to revise that and play an imaginal scene that shows that you ate dinner with a loved one. If you're manifesting money, but this check you've been waiting for did not come that day, you're gonna literally just add the scene in where you got the check in the mail. Everything is going to be smooth and aligned, cozy and comfortable and happy, positive. Everything went your way that day. Isn't it amazing? And then we're going to stop, having our subconscious sort through all of this random clutter that we don't care about. And it's only going to be filing good things. And once we do this, then we want to fall asleep in our wish fulfilled. We want to fall asleep feeling safe, loved, supported, adored. Let those feelings be our last thoughts before the night. And if you have trouble doing this, because I know it's easy to, we want to fall asleep in the wish fulfilled, but then our brain starts coming up with all these scenarios as we're falling asleep. So put on a meditation on YouTube. Put on a guided meditation to listen to as you're falling asleep. That's going to keep rechecking you back into your desired state. So opposite dreams are your subconscious detoxing old wiring. It is not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. It's your mind processing. And then over time, as your new beliefs stabilize, it's going to start becoming neutral or positive. You've got to stop judging your progress based on your dreams. Your dreams are not prophecies. You've got to stop thinking, oh, I was doing SATs, but then I dreamed about the opposite, so that means I did SATs wrong. You didn't do it wrong, but now you're encoding in your brain that you did it wrong. You've got to stop judging your progress and putting your progress in your subconscious hands and then calling it a prophecy or calling it fate. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Stop letting outside things and old programs tell you who you are today and tell you who you're going to be. If your dreams are feeling messy and they're feeling like the opposite, and you notice that, that's a win in my book, because that's literally your rewiring in action. Like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Your only job is to keep focusing on the person, on the version of you that already has that thing. That is your only job. Not to decode everything else. Just keep focusing. You ignore what you don't want to see, and you persist in what you do want to see. Fall asleep as that person, and then let your brain clean the house in the middle of the night. Like my Roomba keeps doing, randomly in the middle of the night, all night long for some reason all of a sudden. Let your brain be my Roomba. Thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, which I intend it was, make sure to share it with someone who you think it would also resonate with. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.